Let's talk about your book, Principles Matter. And before we get into the content of the book, let's begin with the title, just the idea of principles mattering. Can you reflect generally on the importance that a principal has at a particular school, what value they bring to a school, and just the idea that like a good principal can really make a big difference, and these are not interchangeable people?
Sure, absolutely. I think that, not saying this because I'm the principal, but I do think that the principal is the most important person in the school as far as what type of a culture you're going to have, the focus on instructional practices, the relationships that you have with your community. However, you should be the least important person because your role is really to support everyone and the job that everyone is doing. So the book kind of came about because of that notion. I had been, and as you mentioned when we started, I have been in many different roles. I've been an instructor, a teacher. I was a school counselor. I was a district administrator supervising in curriculum and student services and counseling, assistant principal and principal. So I've kind of seen different schools through the years, different leadership styles, different focuses. And it just led me a couple of years ago to kind of put all of my, I guess, ideas and thoughts into what makes a principal successful on paper. Just things that I've noticed through the years, things that I've kind of, I guess, from a personal level, I've implemented in schools where I've been a principal at. I'm currently at Cornerstone Charter Academy in Belle Isle, Florida, as the principal. We're a pre-K through 12, so it's a pretty large school. It's a very highly successful school. We're a high-performing school. But this is my fifth school I've been a principal at. I was a Dade County public school principal for 10, 11 years. I was in a couple different schools in Miami. And then since I transitioned to Academica, which is, the best career move I ever made, I love the autonomy. I love the support that we get being an Academica principal. So I've been a principal at Pinecrest, opened at Pinecrest in Claremont, moved to a Matter a few years later in Kissimmee, and now I'm here. So I've kind of been in different networks. And the interesting thing for me is, I've worked with a lot of different assistant principals through the years as well. So, I've had an opportunity to mentor, and a couple of my assistant principals have taken over as principals in these schools. So I'm always proud of that, right? And we still have a very good relationship. So for me, it's just been, a labor of love, right? Being in this business, doing all these different job roles. I still love it to this day. I'm so passionate every time I walk into the building. And, I learned through the years what I felt worked and didn't work. I've seen certain principles that I have admired and worked with. A couple of them are part of the Academica family. We've worked together. I was the assistant principal for, an amazing principal in one of our schools down south, Silver Palms, Somerset. And, I would take like little tidbits from every principal I worked with through the years and say, okay, you know what, I love this. I love that. Some of the things I said, well, maybe I couldn't pull it off the way they do, because I think part of your leadership style has a lot to do with your personality and how you view your role. So I guess to sum it up, it's just, I've arrived at where I'm at, and I wrote this book because I feel like I've been around in enough years, and I've been in enough different roles where I can kind of have a philosophy that has worked for me through the years. And I was able to put it on paper and kind of use it as a little reminder to me. I hate to say this, but I read my own book sometimes, right? Sometimes I get here early in the morning before anybody gets here, and I'll open the book, and just read a chapter or two just to remind me why I'm here.